Ladies and gentlemen of Australia, on behalf of three very wise independent men, I'm delighted to announce tonight's Christmas Eve presentation. Of course, it wasn't easy deciding what program the people of Australia might want to view. On this particularly special night of the year, it was, you could say, an absolute line ball, judgment call, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, third umpire type decision. But I think we've got there. Let me tell you though first about how we got to that decision.
G'day, my name's Adam Hills. Welcome to A Very Specky Christmas, the music quiz show that saw Mummy kissing Santa Claus, took a few photos, made a few calls and is pretty sure it's going to get whatever it wants for Christmas this year. Tonight we're coming to you from Santa's workshop in the North Pole, where the locals have over 200 words for snow and Jessica Mauboy can't pronounce any of them. Our two team captains this Christmas Eve are the missily Alan Bro and the toey Myf Warhurst. Alan's first guest tonight is an ARIA award-winning pop music sensation who has performed on The David Letterman Show and whose songs have featured in Packed to the Rafters and 6 Feet Under. She's known simply by one name, joining the likes of Madonna, Usher and Santa. Please welcome Sia. Alan's second team member is a comedian from the Emerald Isle who now lives in the sunburnt country. All he wants for Christmas is a drought-tolerant shamrock. Please welcome Jimeoin. Myf's first guest tonight is a true icon of the Australian music industry who has never once appeared in a nativity play. We're assuming that's because he would have stolen the gold, drunk the frankincense and smeared myrrh all over the walls of the stable. Please welcome back Jimmy Barnes. Myf's final guest tonight is one of our favourite comedians whose Christmas Day traditions included a mad auntie that used to take out a fake breast and put it on her head. You know what they say, it isn't Christmas lunch till someone makes a tit of themselves. Welcome back to Denise Scott. There was the joke. So, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome to A Very Specky Christmas.
Very nice to be here.
The lovely thing about this particular panel that we've got here tonight is that, as per Christmas Day, everyone has a story about a mad family member.
Yeah.
And I know, Sia, you have a weird family Christmas tradition.
Yep.
That
Karaoke, Christmas karaoke.
Exactly how does that work?
Well, all of the, dropouts and drop kicks come to our house. And then mum and a couple of friends and then a few meth heads, you know. Just they turn up and then, you know, maybe sing a song with one of their...
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
Exactly, that kind
They're
of
all
thing.
meth.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
Do you mind? I've never asked you this. Did you have Irish Christmas?
Did we have Christmas in Ireland?
Did you have
Yes,
Christmas?
We did every year.
I've had a Christmas in
I've got
Ireland.
one name, by the way, as well. You didn't mention that.
Yeah.
I know you did. Oh, yeah. Can you only have one name as a performer if your name, like Jimmy? Could you be Jimmy, or is that just like?
I think it's been done, I don't know.
There was a band called...
The James.
The James?
James Gang.
No, just the James.
Oh, really? OK, I'll join it.
Well, hang on. You have got one name because we've got Sia, Jimeoin, Barnesy, and Scotty.
Yeah, I'm called Scotty.
Yeah. Your husband calls you Scotty, doesn't he?
Yes, and if you're going to ask, does he call it when you're making love? Yes. Because...
Can I just say, no one was thinking that?
They are now. I was.
And
I can't remember your question, sorry.
Irish Christmas.
Irish Christmas. I was going to ask, do you have any mad family members at Christmas time?
Yeah, it always ends up a bit of a punch-up in the garden.
In the garden. I'm glad you take it outside.
You moved into the garden for a fight. Because we're in that nice room that you never go into other than at Christmas.
Jimmy, do you have Mad Barnes family members?
I am. I am the Mad Barnes family member.
Where are you at the end of Christmas
fighting
Day?
with him in the garden.
And Scotty, I'm pretty sure you've got crazy family members.
Why is that? Well, my Uncle Ken was the big feature at our Christmas. Every Christmas, the highlight was when he'd come with his scone tray and he'd sing this song. I think it's a Canadian song. And it goes, Mule Train. And then he'd get the tray and crack it over his head and it makes the sound of a whip. So it'd be Mule Train, whip. We're clippity-clopping down the mountain track. Don't know if I'm ever coming back. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clacking along. Mule train. But then the chorus, right? I can't remember the words, but it'd go da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And by the time he got to the chorus, he'd just be da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And his head, we'd wait for it every year, would just bleed. It was just fantastic.
We used to play a Christmas game, Irish Blind Man's Bluff. We drink a bottle of whiskey straight down in one, everyone would spin you around, and then you had to guess who you were.
The first game of Christmas is called Know Your Product. And tonight we're looking back at the music of 2010. Before we go, though, we need to test our buzzers. So, Alan's team, can you test yours?
I like it.
Barnesy, do you want to hit your buzzer?
Merry Christmas!
Excellent. Everyone on your buzzers? Let's play a very specky Christmas. Your first question for 1 point. In 2010, AC/DC won the Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance. How many Grammys had they won prior to that?
Merry Christmas!
I don't think they ever won any.
That's exactly right. They'd never won a Grammy until this year.
Well done.
First point of the game.
And I know I tell it every time, but I've got it. I Pash the drummer, and we know that from AC/DC.
I have a story.
I pashed the drummer basically.
My mum and Bon Scott, they were courting for a while.
Courting.
Yeah, and he used to sit... Yeah, he used to sit outside our house on a bench and wait for her to get home. And then she met my dad and I was born, but he was nearly my dad. Oh, my God. And she used to sing backup vocals in his band, his solo band.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's good. One's a mate, Wayne.
Do you know my mum?
No, I mean, I could know, but from Adelaide.
He knows everybody's mum.
Did you just say...
My mum.
Did you just say, are you my dad?
Welcome to the Christmas special of Find My Family. Where's my family? He's over there. Oh.
For 2 points, have a listen to this. I need two things. I need the name of this Australian soprano. Yes.
Joan Sutherland.
Was Dame Joan Sutherland? Yes. And the second thing I might have needed?
La Stupenda.
Oh, hello, what?
La Stupenda.
La Stupenda was what I was looking for, her Italian nickname. Well done, Myf.
Oh, nice.
We're on it tonight. I'm going to get my pen out the way.
For 3 points, rock supergroup Them Crooked Vultures toured Australia for the first time in 2010. Name the three... Name the three permanent band members.
Dave Grohl.
Yes.
Josh Homme.
Q1, yeah.
Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age.
And the guy from...
Hang on.
the guy from...
Just don't put him off.
Led
Tell him
Zeppelin.
Yes, the guy from Led Zeppelin.
Oh, what's it? John Paul Jones.
John Paul Jones is the other person I was looking for. Well done, Alan.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're across it. You're all over it. 2010 saw a number of big-name bands reform. For 4 points, name 4 of those bands as represented by these images.
Cars?
The Cars, yes, is one of them.
Hedges?
Bush.
No.
Gavin
Bush is
Borstall.
another one, yes.
No.
Sidewalk? something?
Pavement.
Pavement.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one more.
That's Speakers in the Garden, isn't
Yes,
Well-
Speakers in the Garden is very close.
Megadeth?
Speakers in the Garden.
You're very close with that.
Which can I just ask which part is close?
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden, 4 points out of 4. Finally, for 5 points. This year, MySpace polled its users on their top 10 music clips of all time. Have a look at 5 of them. Name all 5 of these songs.
Back through the system with the riff-raff again. What have I become?
Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
Daft Punk Around the World.
Yes.
Jay-Z, 99 Problems.
Yes.
Michael Jackson,
Thriller.
Thriller.
Yes.
Britney Spears.
And Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, Hurt.
Yes.
And Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Hit me, baby,
oh,
one
baby,
more time.
hit me, baby, one more time.
Yeah, that
Yes, all 5 points. Well
Well
done.
done.
While we're talking about the music of 2010, we should talk about both Jimmy and Sia. I'll start with Sia.
Okay.
A huge year for you. ARIA Awards.
Yes.
You've won for Best Independent Release,
Yes.
Best Pop Release,
Yes.
and also you won Video of
Yes.
the Year for Clap Your Hands.
Yeah.
Congratulations for a
Thank you.
start. I mean, that's... And look, you know, in all honesty, I don't think people in Australia realise how, you know, successful you've been overseas. I mean,
well.
I've known you for a I mean, I've known you for a while, but
Yes.
my brother sent me a YouTube link to you performing on the David Letterman show, The Late Show with David
Yeah.
Letterman, and it was awesome.
Well, the sign language that I did in the video was inspired by coming to your show and you had an interpreter. So I had interpreters come and interpret my show. I remember that something like that. Anyway, crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then I made a video, made a video for Soon Will Be Found with sign language, inspired by you. And then the Letterman thing was all inspired by you. That's come along, it is the break of day. I keep doing it, sorry, it's the same sentence over and over again. Sorry.
What's amazing about that, though, is that, you
Yeah.
know, I did that on stage, so I paid someone to come along and
Yeah.
interpret my entire show, whereas you actually learnt sign language.
Well, I learned that song in sign language and a little bit extra.
Do you have deaf people love it?
Yeah, actually, yeah. We had a bunch of deaf people in the music video and they were
I think I was saying the music industry. I'm going to say I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. You know what's beautiful is if they hold on to a balloon when they're listening to music, they can really feel it. The vibration through the fingertips is really different. So at my gigs, we throw out a bunch of balloons to the deaf people in the audience, and then they like stand
that's a
out
great idea.
at the front or at the side, and they vibe on it. It's cool.
Wow.
That's a great
Yeah.
thing.
Both Barnesy and Sia are from Adelaide.
Oh my gosh, are you? I had
Yeah, I
no
grew up in
idea.
Adelaide.
But
Yeah.
you're Scottish.
I emigrated from Scotland when I was 5.
Yeah, same with my Uncle
you were
Collie.
5?
That's how I met you
Yeah.
and how I met you.
Can you speak then?
Yeah.
There is that thing about the Scottish accent. You know, people who come from Scotland never lose the accent.
And it gets broader, obviously, that's probably yours does when you go to Scotland. Otherwise, they can't understand you.
Of course, yeah, yeah.
One time, my granny, I was at her house in Glasgow, and she said, would you like a cup of tea, son? And I said, yes, please, Granny. And she waited about a minute and she went, would you like a cup of tea, son? I said, yes, please, Granny. She said, do you want a cup of tea? I said, aye, I would. She said, why didn't you say so? She's a woman of few words, my granny.
Your album that you've released this year... Well, you released 2.
I had 2
technically
albums this year, yeah.
You had... One was just before Christmas
Rhythm and
last
Blues,
year.
yeah.
And then Rage and Ruin.
Rage and Ruin.
The last song of which is an ode to the Largs Pier Hotel in Port Adelaide.
Whoa.
I used to go see gigs there, you know. I used to go see Bon Scott with Fraternity play there when I was like 16, sneak into the pub and watch Billy Thorpe and things.
I don't know that you can really imagine what it would be like playing gigs in places that rough.
We put it this way. One time, this is a true story. I was playing and somebody blasted off a shotgun that went through the roof over my head, and it was one of our fans. They liked this. You know, I was playing with coaches once, and this big gang came in, and this fight breaks out, and I see one of our roadies, Charlie, who goes backstage to get something. I spot this guy following him, and you know, singing. I'm playing guitar, and it comes to the guitar solo. Mossy plays the guitar, so I quickly took my guitar off, ran round, and sure enough, there's this guy who was beating up our roadie. So I ran in, belted him a couple of times, got back on stage before the solo finished. It was a good pub.
At the end of the first round, the scores are Alan, Sia, Jimeoin on 7 points, Myf, Jimmy, Denise just in front, 8 points. Teams have to buzz in and identify the tunes being performed live in the studio. Tonight, your songs are being performed by Santa's Little Helpers, playing the tunes they've been listening to as they've toiled away in Santa's workshop this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Santa's Little Helpers. Guy on drums, why are you dressed like that?
I thought you said you had to dress like Elvis.
Can we have the first song, please, elves?
Mary Poppins.
Chim Chimney.
It's Chim Chim Cherie from Mary Poppins, yes.
That's right.
Of course, Mary Poppins was staged in Australia in 2010. Second song, please. Yes.
Beyonce.
Yep.
Is that something like it?
That is the right. Yeah, that's the right song. I just need the name of the song.
Far out.
Can you give us a hint?
Yes, I can. The lady behind that song got married this year to an English comedian.
Oh, we did it. Katy Perry.
Yeah.
California Girls?
California Girls! Katy Perry, of course, married Randy comedian Russell Brand this year. I can't help feeling that having sex with Russell Brand's a bit like seeing Uluru for the first time. No matter how special it feels, you know thousands of people have been there before you. Next song, please, elves.
I don't know what it is.
Right.
It's awesome, isn't it?
I think we should get these guys a record contract.
Oh, hello. What? Yes?
I want to take you.
It's Angus and Jill.
Oh my gosh, it's Angus and Julia.
And the song is?
Want to take you on a jet plane?
On a big jet plane. Yes, I'll give you that. Final song, please, elves.
Push it real good. Is it push it real good? Push it real good?
Push It by Sultan Pepper. Yes, see us all over it. Would you please thank Santa's elves, who I'm reliably informed may or may not also be the kids of the Ripponlea Primary School Band.
Thank you very much.
At the end of that round, the scores are Myf, Jimmy, Denise are on 8 points. Alan, Sia, Jimeoin in front, 11 points. It's Christmas Eve at the North Pole, and Santa and his elves are going through who's been naughty and who's been nice. Each team will be presented with 3 naughty musicians and 3 naughty stories. You have to match the musician to the story. Myf, Jimmy, Denise, you're first, and your artists are Country Cutie Amber Lawrence. The Warbling Wiggle, Sam Moran. And stunning soprano, Antoinette Halloran. And the reason they're not getting presents this year is one of them lied about running in a marathon and went out for breakfast instead. One of them pretended to be asleep on an international flight for 11 hours to avoid talking to a boring woman. And one of them tried to save the life of someone who was just having a nice rest. Myf, Jimmy, Denise, which story do you think goes with which artist?
Sam would do, I reckon, a fair bit of travel internationally with the Wiggles.
But he also looks like he's a bit of a runner.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yes, but I think they all look slim
pretty
and
fit.
Yeah, fit.
Well, we have to say that.
Well,
don't we?
they all eat breakfast, you know that. By the way, you know I am a Wiggle.
Are you
I
a
am
Wiggle?
a Wiggle. I'm the Black Wiggle. I've got the Guernsey. I did the show with the Wiggles, and they gave me the black Guernsey, and they've retired it now. It's hanging in my cupboard.
So you've got a black skivvy?
I've got the black skivvy with the Wiggles. I got to wake up Jeff. I had to scream.
And Jeff has not fallen asleep since.
It's like the week since. Yes.
I reckon you'd be the opposite of wake up Jeff. I reckon it'd be more like, yeah, Jeff's been awake for about 4 days now.
Yeah. And he just keeps going to discos. Jeff's taking a big interest in house music. I don't know what the Wiggles.
I don't know whether it's my fantasy about the Wiggles that they would be overzealous in
And
wanting
rescue
to resuscitate a sleeping person or a resting person.
I love the idea that they did use a defibrillator because after shocking someone alive, the hands would have gone... Poof.
That could be it. So, you know.
I'm thinking, though, as an opera singer, Antoinette, is it encouraged that you keep really fit?
You have to be fat or fit.
Right.
Ooh. I know what I'd choose. I know what I chose.
Amber, can I ask, is your career taking you overseas as yet?
It has, yeah, all around Australia and overseas.
OK, because I reckon 11 hours definitely is an overseas flight, and you've all done it, so...
All right,
that leaves us
Antoinette,
nothing.
have you ever done a first aid course?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Sam?
I have, yes.
Amber?
I have.
Oh, well, that's cleared that up. They've all travelled on planes.
Have you all had breakfast?
My gut tells me Sam's the marathon.
All right.
Really?
Let's go Sam the marathon.
OK, so we put the marathon card in front of Sam.
See, if you're an opera singer, you can pretend you didn't speak English and then not talk to anybody. You know,
Start singing in Italian.
Just talk one of the arias, you know.
So maybe we swap over then.
Swap them two over.
Amber with Antoinette.
That is a lovely thought, that there's an opera singer on a flight, someone boring starts talking, and she looks back and goes, o mio babino caro.
Yeah.
Should we go with that?
I think so.
OK, so you're saying that Antoinette pretended to be asleep on an international flight.
Yes.
Sam pretended to run a marathon but went out for breakfast instead.
I think he'd
Not
do
a
it.
Wiggle wouldn't lie, though.
Oh, yeah.
You reckon swap?
Swap the last two.
Swap
Amber and Sam swap.
OK, so Antoinette pretended to be asleep, Sam resuscitated someone who was actually having a nice rest, and Amber went for
marathon.
breakfast instead of a marathon. OK, would the people with the correct story in front of them please take a step forward? You got nothing correct. Amber, would you like to tell us what happened?
Well, shall I?
Oh, we had it right.
Oh, no.
I was driving down the street and I saw an old lady sitting on the nature strip, and I pulled the handbrake on and rushed over to her and I said, "Are you OK?" And she said, "No English." And I'd done some resuscitation training, so I put her in the recovery position on her side and wondered why she was trying to get back up. I called the ambulance. I rummaged through her bag and her pockets and I found her phone and I called her daughter. And her daughter came and the ambulance came and they took her blood pressure and she was fine. And then when the daughter got there, she translated that the lady was just having a rest.
That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness.
And I thought that was a nice story, not a naughty story, because I was trying to save her life.
I'd give you a present for that.
I think forcing old ladies down onto the grass is a really good thing.
Sam, would you like to tell us what your story was?
You nasty woman.
I know, I'm sorry.
The evil
I
Wiggle.
talked to this lovely woman who was sitting next to me on the flight. She was lovely for the first 2 hours, and usually you can subtly put the headphones on and watch a movie, but then there was the tap on the shoulder. "I'm sorry, can I just ask you about the Wiggles?" and ask you about... That was fine for the next 45 minutes. And then I decided that I needed to pretend to be asleep. Unfortunately, she couldn't go to sleep during the flight, so I was pretending to be asleep for 11 hours.
And Antoinette?
Well, I was training for the marathon on my own, and when I turned up to do it, there were 10,000 conscientious people in Lycra, and I couldn't bring myself to join the throng. It was too intimidating, so I went out and had Eggs Benedict.
So what happened? Did you then go back home?
Well, then I went home about 3 hours later, and my family all ran out to the car and hugged me and told me how fantastic I was. And I couldn't bring myself to tell them that I hadn't done it, so they ran me a bath and brought me snacks.
Made you a nice breakfast.
Would you please thank Amber Lawrence, Sam Moran and Antoinette Halloran. OK, Alan, see at Jimeoin. Your artists are the man named Aria's Best Male Artist of 2010, Dan Sultan. The woman with 4 Arias to her name from the Verses, Ella Hooper. And the man named Australia's most unlikely sex symbol, Henry Wagons. And their naughty stories are: one of them shocked relatives by arriving at a family function with X-rated food. One of them upset a fan by refusing to sign an autograph. And one of them got drunk and offended Julia Gillard. OK, so which story matches whom? X-rated food, got drunk and offended
That
Julia
guy
Gillard,
right.
refused to sign an autograph.
Which one?
Boobs, guy on the right.
Straight in for the...
What are you
okay.
saying?
Boobs, boobs,
Henry.
you.
OK, swap Julia Gillard with the boobs.
Yeah.
Give Ella the Prime Minister. Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah?
You think that's it?
I think that's it. But
Now, just ask them some more questions, though, because you expressed smugness when the boobs got brought up.
That's my resting face.
That's a screensaver.
Oh, OK, that's confusing. And you seemed a little bit, like, cheeky, though, too, so you could be the boobs guy, which is why I'm a bit confused. So what was one of them with the Prime Minister? One of you got drunk with her?
No, I got drunk and offended
the Prime
her.
Minister, I think it is.
You see,
Oh, you think?
Apparently...
I think that
it's her.
She forgot
Is
her
it?
name.
Yeah.
Oh, it is her.
What's that one? What's the one that Dan's holding
Refused
me?
to sign an
That's
autograph.
refused to sign an
I
autograph.
think it's refused to get a photo taken, actually.
Yeah, that was
More
you.
specific.
I think
You
they're
seem
all
to know a lot
right.
about that
That's all
one.
I've heard.
And now I'll be wrong about all of them.
Can I make a
Offended
radical
her.
suggestion?
Yes.
And swap it all round?
Yes, absolutely.
Because
See,
I
now he's
think
decided
Ella
it's gonna be that.
took X-rated food to a family function, and I think then Henry and Dan should swap. I think Henry wouldn't have a photo taken with somebody, and Dan got drunk and offended Julia Gillard.
OK. Would the person or people with the correct story in front of them please take a step forward? So what was it that you actually did?
Well, it's just a little something I do with gingerbread. I don't know if I can even say this. It's for gingerbread. For gingerbread. For gingerbread men. They're anatomically correct. Gingerbread men.
Sorry, do you call them for gingerbread?
Yes.
It's like the cooking equivalent of vajazzling. That's brilliant.
They do look quite spiffy when they're finished. They have, you know, multicoloured Smarties for breasts and other things for other things.
Ginger nuts?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Are they... Oh, I feel
gingerbread.
embarrassed now. Are they men or women?
They're mostly women. I'm struggling with how to
Gingerbread.
represent the male.
Yeah, I get the gingerbread. 55. I know what ginger...
What do you got there?
Lollies. Bananas for the blokes.
Yeah.
And a Smartie broken in half for the ladies. And silver cashew balls used throughout to decorate certain areas.
Nice little cooking segment to show how you made them. What I'm doing here is I'm breaking the Smartie.
Yeah. That's the tricky, that's the hardest part.
That is the episode of MasterChef I want to see.
So you've got to break them in half, or you have a lopsided vagina.
Exactly. It happens. It happens.
All right, let's move on from that. So we know Ella's story. Dan, what was your story?
Well, I refused a woman a photo with me because...
I did say that was him.
Look, she was having a pretty good day at the time, I'll say, and we're at a festival, and... Hey, can I get a photo? Oh, sure, of course, no worries. And she came up and I was waiting. Oh, it's the flash, and her friend was getting her phone ready, and in the meantime, she proceeded to lick me from here up the side of my head, all the way up, and then look at me like, yeah, didn't you? Yeah, you like that? And I just... I didn't say a word to her. I didn't yell. I didn't swear. I wasn't rude. I might have been a bit rude, but I think fair enough, you know. I like to know somebody before they lick my face.
I know, that's my problem with the for gingerbread.
So you guys, if you could swap cards then...
Oh, I got confused. I thought Julia Gillard had lectured.
Let's say,
Henry, what was your story?
I was licked by the Prime Minister. I was voted last year as one of the top 100 most influential Melbourneites. Julia was a fellow nominee. And there was a launch event at a fancy restaurant in Melbourne, and it was sponsored by a vodka company, a coffee company, and a chocolate company. And I got absolutely tanked on espresso martinis. Julia Gillard gave a speech, and when she announced that the top 100 were not in fact ranked, and I wouldn't get to find out where in the top 100 I sit, I let out a massive groan. And all the scientists, mathematicians and fellow musicians looked at me in absolute horror, including Julia Gillard. And then she licked my face.
And she went, you taste like coffee.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we please have a round of applause for Dan Sultan, Ella Hooper and Henry Rayland. At the end of that round, the scores are Myf, Jimmy, Denise are on 8 points. Alan, Sia, Jimeoin are in front on 12 points. In this round, each team will hear short snippets of cover versions released in 2010. Without taking notes, you have to identify as many of those songs as you can. Alan, Sia, Jimeoin, you're up first.
OK.
Listen carefully. Here are your cover versions.
Life is a mystery. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. And I never felt this way before. Get wild, wild, wild.
Like a Prayer.
Yes.
Ice Ice Baby.
Yes.
Wild World is the fifth one. Wild World.
And then The Time of Your Life.
Yep. There's one in the middle.
Blondie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Rapture.
All right, let's have a listen back. Was Like a Prayer, done by the kids from Glee. Ice Ice Baby by Jedward. Rapture by Alicia Keys. I've Had the Time of My Life by the Black Eyed Peas. The last one was Come On Feel the Noise by a group called Lucky Uke.
Oh,
What does Come On Feel the Noise? How does it go?
Myf, Jimmy, Denise, here are your song snippets.
Sometimes when this place gets kind of empty, I never knew how much I love you. Come out, Virginia, don't let me waste. Mama, I just killed a man.
I love that song.
Popcorn.
Yep.
Mama, just killed a man.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Queen.
Yep.
Yeah, Under the Milky Way.
Fever.
Yep.
Fever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the middle one?
I've forgotten it.
I haven't got it.
All right, let's listen back. That was Under the Milky Way by Sia.
What are you going to do?
Fever, John Farnham. Only the Good Die Young, again the cast of Glee. Bohemian Rhapsody, Hey See Dixie. And Popcorn by Muse, 4 points for Myf's side.
Well done.
Yeah. At the end of that round, the scores are Myf, Jimmy, Denise on 12 points. Alan, Sia, Jimeoin still in front, 16 points. Christmas Eve and 3 of Santa's elves have fallen ill with elephantitis. Unfortunately, there are still toys to be sorted and celebrity stockings to be filled. So each team will have to step forward and help put the presents in the right stockings. And hang on, we can't do any of this without Santa. Where's Santa? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Santa Claus and his three favourite elves, Elf O'Neill, Elf Mannix and Elf Wilson.
Hello, my boy.
How are you, Santa?
I'm very well. Have you been good?
I've been... Yeah.
I've heard.
Have you got any presents for me?
Well, I do. I got something very special.
Oh.
This is a young man whose career I've been following. And he's written this rather fabulous tome.
Brian Cadd's autobiography.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I asked Santa for some Viagra. Do you think it's kicked in yet? What?
Santa and the elves, would you please make your way over to the conveyor belt, please, while I explain how the game is going to work.
Come on, Santa.
Are you okay, Santa? Nice. Here's how the game's going to work. Each team has to collect the correct presents as they come past on the conveyor belt over here. Then run over here and put them in the corresponding sacks. Let's see who's getting what for Christmas. Mick Jagger is up here because Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones said Mick was unbearable. Brian, what have we got for him as a present?
We'll be giving Mick some bears so that he is bearable.
The second sack belongs to Lady Gaga, who, of course, made headlines this year with her meat dress. Dave, what have you got for her?
We've got a frying pan. Thank you. This is so today's dress can be tomorrow's mixed grill, Adam.
The third sack belongs to Rod Stewart, who, at the age of 65, is expecting his 7th child this year. Cal, what's Santa got for Rod Stewart?
He's got some nappies, Adam, and if he's really good, Santa will bring the baby some as well.
Alan's team, you're up first, so would you like to make your way down to the conveyor belt, please? Round of applause for Alan's team. Now, before you start, there are a couple of rules. The rules are this. The right toy in the right sack gets a point, but there will be some decoy toys coming down.
Okay.
And due to OH&S, you can only carry one toy at a time over to the sacks.
All right. Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Your time starts now.
Decoy. Here's this one. OK, these are...
Pineapple?
Who gets the bears? He does.
That is the least manly run I've ever seen.
blockage!
No, there's an octopus. I can only hold one thing at a time. There we go, that's working out nicely. Frying pan. Everyone deserves it. Oh, no. These are nice.
Brad.
Thanks, teddy bear, teddy bear.
After all that, you've got 3 for Mick Jagger, 4 for Lady Gaga, 4 for Rod Stewart, 11 points. Please thank Alan, see you, Jimeoin. All right, let's see who else is getting presents this year. The next sack is for the people of Columbia, South Carolina, who this year were given a 20-foot monument celebrating Hootie and the Blowfish. Cal, what is their gift?
They are getting enough birds to cover that 20-foot monument of Hootie and the Blowfish with bird poo.
Very appropriate. Very appropriate.
The next sack is for CeeLo Green, who had a massive hit this year with a song that can only really be called on television Bleep You. Dave, what is he getting?
He's getting enough bleeps to last to 2012.
And the final sack is for the person who bought John Lennon's toilet for $14,000 at an auction this year. Brian, what's he getting?
He'll be getting a whole lot of Paul McCartney CDs to fill it up with.
Miss team, if you'd like to make your way to the conveyor belt, please.
Of course we can. I can't even get down without doing this.
Yeah, you can.
That's tragic. I've got these ridiculous...
Here we go.
Yeah, take it off.
You need a headband of some description.
Yes, this is a garment made for Christmas. Your own bonbon.
Your time starts now.
Okay.
Go.
All right.
Let's go, Dee.
Hang on.
Oh, look at you guys go.
Too tall for me.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yes, that was... I think that was a bird, Denise.
That was a bird. And this does poo. I don't care if it's a bird. It does poo. Anything that does poo.
a bird. That's a bird.
Oh, there's a... Hang on, Jimmy, Jimmy.
I got him. That's not a bird. We'll put it in.
Doesn't matter.
Time's up, but pretty impressive. I'll give you that last one. Yeah, excellent work. Score check. 7 in the first sack, 6 in the second, 3 in the third, 16 points. That was a pretty frank. Myf, Jimmy, Denise, excellent job. And we also have a big round of applause to Santa, Cad, and our elves, Cal, Dave, and Brian. At the end of that round, the scores are Alan, Sia, Jimeoin on 27 points, 1 point behind Myf, Jimmy, Denise, who are on 28.
Wow, power to the people.
The next round of Christmas is a Yuletide version of Substitute. 2 choirs will sing Christmas carols using the words of news stories from 2010. Our teams have to identify the carols and the news stories their lyrics are taken from. Singing for Alan, Sia and Jimeoin, would you please welcome the women of La La La, La Chorale Française de Melbourne, Australie. And their special guest conductor tonight is Andy Lee.
Bonjour. 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 Bonjour, ladies.
Bonjour.
These madames, mazelles, I've had every single one of them. But I am very sexy man.
Kind of feeling a bit of sick in my mouth. And singing for Myf, Jimmy and Denise, please welcome the Australian Welsh Male Choir. And their special guest conductor tonight is Hamish Blake.
How's it going?
What are you? Who are you?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes.
Most famous Welsh woman. Don't you worry about that.
Yep.
And I have also had all of them, so... That's an even playing field. You know I like him a bit older. I am Catherine.
Oh, my God.
And I like that you've got a bit of Michael Douglas going on as well.
Well, in Wales, we all have face warmers, so it's been a long winter.
The other thing is Catherine that...
Could you not have thought of anyone else famous and Welsh?
Quick, top 3 famous Welsh people.
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is not a bad idea.
All right, let's start with Alan's team, Andy's choir.
OK.
Okay. me, your play, etc. Okay. 1, 2, 3, ça va?
I'm feeling a little sick about this. No, I'm so sorry about this. No, I don't know what to say. It's Amanda. This is a complete accident.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's totally wrong. It's what happens when you have live TV, folks. Insane.
Do you know what the song was?
Let It Snow.
Yes. Do you know what the news item was?
Someone messed up on live TV.
Someone did mess up on live TV in
So
2010.
Hey, hey, it's Saturday.
Wasn't Hey Hey It's Saturday. I've got a feeling this side knows, so I'm going to throw it over.
give them a go.
Yes, do you know the news event?
It was on Australia's Next Top Model.
Yes.
And it was when they announced the wrong winner.
Oh, right, of course.
It was,
well done.
yep, it was Sarah Murdoch getting the wrong winner on Australia's Next Top Model. Hamish, from this team, your first song, please.
All right. Heads, tails, where whales go.
Attempts to stop and use the submarine robots.
Nice.
To close the blood prevent the valves on wellhead.
Go.
Next, they tried to tend the tunes with nylon tops, stuffed with animal fur and human hair.
Bring it home. You're home. Well done.
Okay, what's the story?
It's the oil spill.
Yes.
And Jesus Christ was born in a manger. But that is not a song. I'm just making it up.
No idea the song? Anyone the song?
I've got nothing, no.
The song was All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth.
Oh, Of course it was.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay, come on, sing it.
So
We're Welsh, we will not be questioned. No points. Sorry, man.
Hamish, on behalf of all of us in that dress, please don't raise your arms again.
You don't want to see me raise the front bit, okay?
Oh, yes, I do.
You special treat. Yeah.
My eyes!
Oh.
My eyes!
It looks like you've got a big potato down there.
Yeah, what was that? I really need to know.
That's actually... Oh, come on, it's a beautiful part of life when a Welsh woman gets out maracas.
There we go.
Have you ever seen a traditional Welsh maraca dance?
Confusing.
Oh, I didn't know what was in there either.
Imagine how warm they would be too.
Well, we needed them for the last song, but, you know, the maracas are out of the undies now.
All right, Andy, can we have your second song for Alan's team, please?
5, 6, 7, begin.
It's not within career of my day-to-day reality. You may as well ask me, am I anticipating a trip to Mars? There's one chance of me becoming the full for the dogs. And there is any change in the Labour Party.
The story is Julia Gillard saying that she wasn't going to challenge Kevin Rudd for the leadership of the Labor Party.
Correct. And the song...
I forget to listen. I'm too
Yeah, I'm
swept
torn
up
between
in trying to understand what everyone's saying.
I don't think either side know what the song was.
No.
The song was 6 White Boomers.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
The idiots!
Yes,
Which-
true.
Kind of. Hamish, your turn, please.
Yeah!
So good, so good.
A little bit louder. That's what I want.
45 or 60 minutes. Allow chicken to cool in the poaching liquid.
That's my boys. Well done.
Yeah.
Is it a Tannenbaum?
It's not O Tannenbaum, no.
We have an idea.
Yes, do you know the song?
When a Child is Born.
When a Child is Born is exactly what the song is, so I'm going to give you a point on that side. It was for MasterChef. That was Alvin's MasterChef recipe for drunken chicken. On that side, excellent work. Andy, can we have your final song for Alan, Sia and Jimeoin, please?
Put him yum. It's French for yum.
Just quietly check out Charlie Pickering's hand, thinking must be ripping me on random from 902 and on. Just got told that if we got caught tweeting, we could get pulled off. Also, and someone from home and away doing.
Keep going, yeah. Are we nearly there?
Yeah.
Yes, Santa Baby.
Yes, it was Santa Baby.
And, well, because I heard Charlie Pickering, so it was a 7p... something about Charlie Pickering on the 7
It was something about Charlie Pickering, yep. Anyone on this side know?
That's talking about your generation, because there was Amanda mentioned in there as well.
No, the lyrics actually
Kyle
came...
Sandilands?
Will Anderson's Logie's tweets.
Oh!
And by the way, if you're unaware of what Twitter is, imagine everyone in the world shouted everything they thought at every moment of the day at once to no one in particular and for no apparent reason. That's Twitter. Finally, for Myf, Jimmy and Denise, Hamish, bring us home.
Evacuating
everything I've ever seen in my life.
That is a wardrobe malfunction.
No, it's not. This is a beautiful woman, and shame on you if you can't appreciate it.
It's really, you can hear the lyrics, but...
No, we couldn't, but we still think we know what's going on.
I think it might be about the trap miners.
No.
Oh, well, we need
know the
to
song?
hear some...
Do you know what the song was?
Yeah, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, I need the name. That's not actually the name of the song. It's
We know. You a Merry
it's the bit before that.
We know.
It's
All right, hang on. These guys know.
It's Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad is what I was looking for. Does anyone on this side know where the lyrics came from?
Couldn't hear anything.
The lyrics were from the report on the Icelandic volcano that erupted.
Of course it sounds like gibberish.
Would you please thank La 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 Choral Française de Melbourne, Australie and the Australian Welsh Male Choir. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the French Andy Lee, who I believe is now called Andy Le. Oh, yes. And a round of applause for Hamish Blake. At the end of that round, the scores are Miss Jimmy Denise are on 31 points, Alan, Sia, Jimeoin just in front, 32 points. Hands on your buzzers. 1 point for a correct answer, 1 point off for a wrong answer. Your questions start now. According to Perry Como and the Fontaine sisters, it's beginning to look a lot... Yes.
Like Christmas.
Like Christmas, indeed. Name the Brisbane band who called it quits this year with their Sunsets tour.
Powderfinger.
It is Powderfinger. With an appropriately titled album, Animal, which pop starlet spells her name with a $sign instead of an S?
Merry Christmas.
Yes?
Kesha.
Kesha. In the Pogues' 1987 Christmas single Fairy Tale of New York...
Oh,
yes?
bum. I went too early.
Yep.
Something about snow.
The rest of the question was going to be, what were the boys of the NYPD choir singing?
Oh, Galway Bay.
Have a listen to this. Tell me the name of this hit from 2010.
Merry Christmas! Rude Boy, Rihanna.
Rude Boy by Rihanna, yes. If I was looking out on the Feast of Stephen, who would I be?
Merry Christmas! Good King Wenceslas.
Yes. Washington's 2010 debut gold album is I Believe You...
Merry Christmas!
Liar, yes. How many times is Santa checking his list before he comes to town?
Merry Christmas!
It is checking it twice.
Twice, yep. And your final question, which of the following is not a real Christmas song? Christmas conga, Santa Claus is skying to town, or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae?
The first one, Christmas conga.
No, they're all real Christmas songs. At the end of a very specky Christmas, the final scores are Alan, Sia, Jimeoin ended up with 32 points. Myf, Jimmy, Denise won the day, 36 points. Would you please thank all our guests for tonight, Sia, Jimeoin, Jimmy Barnes and Denise Scott. And of course our two team captains, Alan Blow and Myf Warhurst. Can we also have a huge round of applause for all the guests that dropped in to help us celebrate Christmas this year? We hope you have a wonderful holiday season and we'll see you next year for another season of Spicks and Specks in 2011. We'd like to close the show tonight, though, with an all-star choir featuring Dan Sultan, Ella Hooper, Amber Lawrence, Henry Wagons, Antoinette Halloran, Sam Moran, Santa, Brian Cadd, our elves, Cal Wilson, Dave O'Neill and Brian Mannix, the members of the Rip and Lee Primary School Band, along with Hamish and Andy, and the combined La 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 French and Australian Welsh male choirs, as they pay tribute to Christmas with a Yuletide medley, accompanied by one of the most popular performers on Spicks and Specks in 2010 from the world of organs in Adelaide's Sunnyside Mall, Mr. Barry Morgan. for watching A Very Specky Christmas. My name's Adam Hills. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night, Australia.
All of this and more is how we reached our conclusion. So please, sit back and enjoy, on this historic Christmas Eve, a very specky Christmas. Thank you. What? It's finished? Did you tape Rock Whiz?